So, Uwe, you are in charge of ICR project for UCA. And can you tell me how this project appeared and what is the aim of this project?
Okay, the project is called ICR, which stands for Inter-Regional Culture-Led Regeneration. So it's about the idea that through culture we can revitalize communities and civic society. So there's an example of where culture is used to try and have an impact on the social life in a particular town. So this is the context in which I operate, and I work for the University for the Creative Arts, which is basically an art school like ESADHaR. And we operate in this environment where the art schools, the universities, are asked to contribute to that discussion, the debate and the actions to support regeneration. And then out of this I have the idea combined with so out of this and combined with the opportunity of some funding from Europe, I had this idea to organize or to develop a project, an initiative, an intervention relating to the arts, regeneration, civic society. And this is what ICR is about. It's a framework, and I put the key is, because there's it's slightly complicated, but for me the key is the creative practice, the art, the making, and the production of the art. And through that production comes the interaction with the wider environment, the social environment. And therefore, because the art schools are at the heart of that development, the education and the making and the networks they have, I put the art schools in this project at the center. So we have the art school here, we have the art school in Rennes, we have it in Calais, in Bournemouth, and our own art school with lots of all different campuses. So that is at the heart of the project ICR. And then we have some other partners, arts organizations, intermediaries and local authorities which are more strategic to support us. So that is the idea. And in that project we then develop things like this exhibition, for example, the Limber exhibition, where people, where artists collaborate, co-curate an exhibition like this, debate what the arts mean in the context of a particular discipline, but also in the context of how it's perceived by the public. I think, and hopefully you have an opportunity to talk to Ian later as well, but I think it's this idea about two-dimensional, that painting is restricted to two dimensions. And here it's an opportunity to break out of the idea that painting is about two dimensions. And I think that is one of the aspects of this exhibition and this particular piece of work. And it's an experiment in doing this. And that's, in a way, it's so good to see that through this project we can showcase and encourage experimentation in the arts, in this case painting. So because without the experimentation, artists won't get the confidence to work on their practice, but also then to open it up to a wider audience. So experimentation and pushing preconceptions about what something should be or shouldn't be is really, really important. That critical, especially in an art school and in a university context, critical engagement with the subject matter is key.
Can you talk about the creative challenge?
Yeah, so the creative challenge is a program I set up a few years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, at the University for the Creative Arts. And it is basically an opportunity for students, art students, to engage in what one might call social and environmental entrepreneurship. So the idea is that students are getting the support to think about some of the big issues that concern us all. So whatever your art practice is, whatever your discipline, it is not suspended from the world we live in. And in that world there are some really big issues like global warming, water pollution, waste, peace, poverty. So these are all really big issues, and here is a program which allows students a small window to get into that agenda in a very professional way. So we're offering them professional support to think about these big issues, but in their own, coming up with their own ideas, and we support them. So students are then invited to participate in the program, develop some of their thinking, get maybe new ideas, formulate potential proposals, interventions, which then are judged by people from industry and senior academics, and then they are further supported. So it's a selection process, and it's a support, and it's extracurricular, and it's across all the disciplines and all years of study. Thank you. It's in a way debating about what's the limitation of painting. It's also a debate about the limitation of the art school and the limitation of teaching and learning, and the limitation of, therefore, of research, the limitation of audiences. So it has much broader implications, and in a way that is. So the ICR project does start with the premise that we build on what we know and what we typically practice in art schools. So we have residencies, commissions, exhibitions, but we also appreciate that we need to have exchanges, so that we need to nurture and open the doors for our students to make connections, and our staff, so we have staff exchanges. We all know about running workshops, seminars are part of what we do. We also part of the making and then exhibiting outside the art school is things we do, and we all know it's to make these connections in the communities is an element of something we do. And then the other one is to link to our local authorities to gain support to achieve a strategic intervention. It's also something that we come across in an art school. So this is in a way, the ICR project is amplifying, maybe that's the word, amplifying the things we do. But the key is then, the other element is the collaborative element within our region. Rather than thinking of northern France up to Brittany, Normandy, Nord-Pas-de-Calais, Kent, right down to Sussex and Hampshire. This is rather than seeing this as different two regions, you could actually see the other way around, and saying actually this is one region, and how do we collaborate in this one region? And that is the other premise of the project.